Welcome back to Weird Wednesday on Sinister Serials, where the enigmatic journey through the shifting sands of Zaraleth continues to unfold. Delve deeper with us into the heart of ancient mysteries as our brave explorers confront the uncharted and the arcane. With each step into the desert's depths, they encounter challenges that test their resolve and reveal secrets that challenge the boundaries of reality and myth. Join us on this perilous quest, where the past whispers and the sands shift beneath our feet.
Chapter 6. As the relentless sun relinquished its throne to the cool dominion of night, the desert transformed under the cloak of darkness. The camp, a fragile bubble of light in the vast, indifferent expanse, seemed more isolated than ever. Nathaniel Carter, taking the first watch, paced the perimeter with a restlessness that mirrored the whispering sands. Carter's vigil was a solitary affair, the silence punctuated only by the occasional gust of wind that sent tendrils of sand dancing like wraiths across the dunes. The moon, a pale specter in the sky, cast long, eerie shadows that twisted and merged with the landscape, creating shapes that seemed to flicker at the edge of vision. It was in this hypnotic interplay of light and shadow that Carter vanished, swallowed by the desert as if it had claimed him for its own. His absence was discovered in the gray pre-dawn, when the shift change found his post abandoned, his footprints leading into the vastness before vanishing altogether. The search that ensued was frantic and fevered, the team calling his name into the indifferent expanse, their voices swallowed by the vast silence. They found him just as the sun's first rays crested the horizon, casting the desert in a blood-red hue. Half buried in a dune that had not been there the evening before, Carter lay motionless, his face contorted in a final expression of terror that seemed to echo the chaotic, shifting nature of the sands that entombed him. No sign of struggle, no tracks of beast or man, just the desert, seemingly alive and malevolent, cradling one of their own in a cold embrace. The discovery of Carter's body, with its inexplicable lack of cause and the eerie circumstances of his death, sent a ripple of fear through the camp. The desert, once a vast, empty canvas upon which they projected their ambitions and dreams, now seemed imbued with a sinister sentience. The sands whispered among themselves, the dunes shifted like great beasts beneath the surface, and the wind carried voices that were not their own. Dr. William Chang's response to this unsettling turn of events was to delve deeper into his arsenal of herbal lore. With a calm that bordered on the surreal, he brewed concoctions that seemed to draw their essence from the desert itself. His preparations, thick and aromatic, carried the scent of ancient earth, of hidden oases and forgotten temples buried beneath the sands. As Chang distributed his herbal remedies, his words carried the weight of ancient wisdom, speaking of the desert not merely as a place but as a living entity. He talked of the spirits that dwelled in the endless sands, of the life force that pulsed beneath the surface, unseen but palpable. The desert, he suggested, was a keeper of secrets, a guardian of the threshold between the mundane and the mystical. The team, gathered around the campfire with cups of Chang's bitter brew warming their hands, listened to the herbalist's tales with a mixture of skepticism and awe. The desert around them seemed to listen too, the wind carrying their words across the dunes, where they were absorbed and whispered back in echoes that seemed to mock their attempts to understand. In this moment, the expedition found itself at the mercy of forces beyond their comprehension, their mission entwined with the living desert that surrounded them. The sands, ever shifting, ever whispering, became a symbol of the mutable nature of reality itself, a canvas upon which ancient powers inscribed their will. Carter's death, shrouded in mystery and devoid of reason, became a testament to the desert's enigmatic heart. The team, bound together by their shared loss and the haunting presence of the desert, pressed on, driven by a mix of determination and dread, each step taking them deeper into the shifting sands of Zaraleth, where the veil between the known and the unknown was as thin as the morning mist that rose from the dunes with the rising sun. Chapter 7. After the unsettling demise of Nathaniel Carter, the expedition's fragile semblance of order began to unravel, mirroring the chaotic nature of the desert that ensnared them. Captain Samuel Fitzgerald, his military discipline a thin veneer over growing paranoia, cast a wary eye over the shifting dunes, half expecting them to stir with malevolent intent. The desert, a vast and indifferent entity, seemed to mock their plight, its sands shifting in patterns that defied the natural order. Miss Eleanor Sinclair, her previous encounters with ancient texts offering no solace, delved deeper into the cryptic inscriptions they had unearthed. Each glyph and symbol whispered of dark truths and hidden realms, drawing her into a labyrinth of esoteric knowledge from which there seemed no escape. The weight of her family's legacy, intertwined with the enigmatic lore of Zaraleth, pressed upon her, a constant reminder of the cursed bloodline she sought to understand, if not redeem. The destructive force of a sudden sandstorm, as if conjured by some unseen hand, ravaged their camp with a ferocity that bordered on the supernatural. Their equipment, the lifelines to their mission and survival, was torn asunder, leaving them exposed to the merciless elements. The storm, a maelstrom of howling winds and stinging sands, seemed to carry with it the anguished cries of forgotten deities, punishing the intruders who dared to tread upon their sacred ground. In the aftermath, as the winds died and an eerie silence settled over the devastated camp, Dr. William Chang's demeanor took on a new, unsettling aspect. The herbalist, once a source of calm and wisdom, now spoke in riddles and half-whispered chants that hinted at revelations too dreadful to comprehend. His eyes, when they caught the flickering light of the campfire, gleamed with an otherworldly luminescence, betraying a mind teetering on the brink of madness or enlightenment. As the team grappled with their dwindling resources and the growing sense of isolation, the desert around them seemed almost to pulsate with a life of its own. The sands whispered secrets of ancient rites and blood sacrifices to gods whose names had been erased from the annals of history, save for the forbidden texts that Sinclair dared to decipher. Their journey, once driven by a thirst for knowledge and discovery, had become a desperate struggle for survival in a landscape that defied reason. The desert, with its ever-changing topography and inscrutable mysteries, had become not just a physical barrier, but a psychological abyss, challenging their sanity and resolve. In this realm where reality and nightmare intertwined, the expedition found itself ensnared in a web of cosmic horror, each day bringing them closer to truths that mankind was never meant to know. The shifting sands of Zaraleth, a metaphor for the mutable nature of existence itself, held them captive, their fates intertwined with the ancient and unfathomable forces that lay hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the stars to align and herald the return of gods long banished to the shadows of the world. Chapter 8. In the wake of the devastating sandstorm, the expedition found themselves in a landscape reborn into chaos, where once familiar landmarks were now consumed by the desert's insatiable maw. The relentless sun, a harsh overseer, cast its gaze upon the remnants of their camp, now little more than scattered debris and shattered aspirations. Captain Samuel Fitzgerald, his once unshakable resolve now eroded by the desert's treacheries, surveyed the damage with a grim countenance. The storm had been no mere act of nature. It bore the hallmarks of a malevolent will, a sentient force that sought to thwart their passage at every turn. The destruction of their equipment, vital for both their research and survival, was a crippling blow, rendering them all but stranded in this alien expanse. Miss Eleanor Sinclair, her spirit undimmed by the storm's fury, found herself drawn even deeper into the enigmatic lore they had unearthed. The texts, ancient and cryptic, seemed to resonate with the very sands that sought to claim them. Each passage she deciphered spoke of thresholds and gateways, of worlds beyond worlds where the gods of old held dominion. The desert, with its ever-shifting dunes and hidden depths, was a mirror to these arcane realms, a physical manifestation of the cosmic labyrinth that lay beyond the veil of reality. The aftermath of the storm left the team in a precarious state, their resources dwindling as quickly as their hopes. The once clear boundary between day and night, sanity and madness, began to blur, as the oppressive heat and the relentless isolation took their toll. The desert, a vast and indifferent entity, watched in silence, its sands whispering secrets of aeons past and horrors yet to come. Dr. William Chang, his once soothing presence now a source of unease, moved through the camp like a wraith, his murmured incantations and strange rites offering little in the way of comfort. The herbs and concoctions he prepared, once a balm to their weary bodies and minds, now seemed imbued with a darker purpose, their effects unpredictable and often unsettling. As they struggled to repair what they could and salvage what remained, the team was forced to confront the reality of their situation. They were mere specks in the vastness of the desert, a land that was as ancient as it was malevolent. The ruins that lay buried beneath the sands, the remnants of civilizations long forgotten, were a testament to the desert's insatiable hunger, a warning to those who would dare to uncover its secrets. The shifting sands, ever in motion, seemed to mock their efforts, reshaping the landscape with a capriciousness that defied understanding. The dunes, like great serpents, writhed and twisted, their forms ever-changing, a maze with no exit and no end. In this desolate realm, where the line between the natural and the supernatural had all but vanished, the expedition found themselves not as seekers of knowledge, but as pawns in a game played by forces beyond their comprehension. The desert, with its ancient gods and buried secrets, held them in its grip, a grip that tightened with each passing day, drawing them ever closer to the heart of the abyss.
Thank you for venturing with us through the mystic dunes in this episode of the Shifting Sands of Zaraleth. The path our explorers tread grows ever more treacherous, weaving through the tapestry of time and revealing wonders and horrors alike. As the sands continue to shift, so too do the mysteries they conceal. What ancient truths and cosmic destinies await in the depths of Zaraleth? Keep your compass set to Sinister serials and join us next Weird Wednesday for the continuation of this otherworldly saga.